welcome to Single Chef. My name is Matt Skollar. I'm your classic single guy with the classic single guy fridge and ingredients. The difference is I know how to use these items simply and quickly to create a tasty meal you can't mess up. Now, it's going to be so good that even a woman will be impressed by it. But if you can't take my word for it, you can't not take our lovely Lily's word for it. How you doing, Lily?
I'm great, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's great to have you back as always.
I'm glad to be back.
Awesome.
So what are you going to cook tonight?
I'm glad you asked. Well, tonight I am going to cook salmon with an herb butter, white wine, a little touch of cream and lemon sauce. Something I messed around with earlier during the week. It came out pretty good. And as always, guys, we're going to be using our 10 single chef ingredients. We'll be choosing from these. And let me go down that list real quick. We have soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, canola oil, hot sauce. I've got some ketchup. You got to have ketchup in your fridge, guys, or your pantry, right? Some mayo. That's another no-brainer. We got some mustard. Of course, we got salt and pepper. And we got garlic powder here in this little deal. And my secret ringer, we got a little Thousand Island dressing. So that plus what I shot for tonight, and simply, guys, it cost me $12.50, and that was the salmon, which already came with the herb butter. So I may be doing a little cheating, but I'll explain that. That's really easy. I bought some spinach. We're going to do a little side of sauteed spinach. I happen to have some cheap white wine in the fridge already, so you know that's $2 chuck. So if you know where Trader Joe's is, that's about $2.50, $3. So really, what I shot for was the salmon, the spinach, and a little half and half, and that's it. I don't know about you, Lily, but I'm pretty hungry.
I'm starving.
Cool. So let's get this show on the road.
Awesome.
The first thing I'm going to do, guys, is because the salmon doesn't take all that long, is I'm going to take this spinach here and I'm going to just chop it up so it is chopped up and cooks a little easier that way. And I'm just going to put this big bowl of spinach right here in the middle. I'm just going to go for it. I'm using a serrated knife, but pretty much whatever we single guys have in our kitchen, you can use to cut. Hopefully it's not too dull. And I'm just going to, there's no science to my method. I just kind of chop away. And just so you know, guys, Lily is in the chat room live. So if you have any questions for us here at Single Chef, feel free to type in your questions. Lily, take it, ask me, and we'll answer your questions the best we can.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will. So Lily, you're a Southern California gal, yeah?
I am, yeah.
Awesome. Where would you go in town, tell our viewers who may be visiting or in LA, to get maybe a good piece of fish?
Well, I have to be honest.
Please always do.
I don't know that I could name a specific restaurant.
Okay.
However,
yeah.
My grandfather, Grandpa Herb, and my dad make the best fish I've ever had.
Oh, okay. So
the two of them together.
So you go to your grandfather's house?
Yeah, I go to my grandpa's house.
There you
go. Or my dad's house.
Okay. I love it. What kind of fish does Grandpa Herb like?
He makes really good salmon. And so does my dad, so you have something to live up to.
Cool.
Right?
Well, when I meet him, we'll go over and we'll compare recipes.
Great.
Okay. So I'm unwrapping the fish, guys, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of canola oil in my pan to coat it, and then we'll get the fish working. So just going to put, yeah, that feels about right. Just going to mix that around in our nonstick pan there, and I'm going to take the salmon. Always, wash your hands before you cook, guys, because, there's a lot of germs out there. You want to make sure your hands are clean before you handle any of your proteins. And we're just going to stick that, I'm going to stick that skin down first in the pan.
We have a question, our first question from the chat room.
Okay, let's hear the question.
This is from Hannah Girl.
Hannah Girl.
Hannah Girl.
All right, what does Hannah have to ask?
She wants to know if you can use any other greens.
If I can use any other greens besides spinach?
Yeah, besides spinach.
Absolutely. I mean, this is just what I chose to pair with the salmon tonight.
Yeah.
If you want to use string beans, you want to do broccoli, string beans, I like to parboil those. I've done that on a show before where I just parboil them to get them a little soft, and then maybe just saute them with some garlic and some soy sauce, or you can do white wine and butter, whatever. But absolutely, there's no we're not that strict here in Single Chef, as you know, Lily. So that's a good question, Hannah. Thanks for the question. But yes, whatever you'd like to pair with your meal, absolutely. I'm going to take this garlic here because that's going to go with our spinach, and this is just some garlic I found lying around the kitchen. And let me just show you a little trick here, guys. Just separate these cloves. But before I learned this trick, and it's not that big a deal, but it certainly cuts down on your cooking time. You just kind of give it with your knife, just a little like that. And what that does is that allows the skin to come off real easily. As you can see, I've got half a clove of garlic here and half a clove there. It's much easier than cutting it and ripping it apart and all that stuff. So I'm going to use 2 little cloves of garlic for our spinach. And there we go. It's okay if you crush it, which I did a little bit there. But what I'm going to do is then I'm going to cut that into little pieces. And that's going to go with our sauteed spinach. And I also have a secret ingredient that's going to go on top of the sauteed spinach, which I'll share with you in just a little bit. So as you may or may not be able to hear, our salmon is cooking. I'm just going to turn up the heat on that just a tiny bit on the stove. Just to get a little more heat on there. Right now it was like, this is an electric oven, so it was on medium. I'm just going to put it a little closer to high.
Matt.
Yes.
We have another question.
Excellent. Hit me.
Our viewer, Frank is back.
Oh, Frank.
And he has 2 questions for you.
Okay, let's hear it, Frankie.
Firstly, can you cook other fish the same way?
Absolutely. You can pan saute many different kinds of fish. You can do swordfish, you can do tuna. Depending on the grade of tuna, you might want to just lightly sear it on one side, flip it over, and and maybe just drizzle a little dressing on there, whatever you prefer. Tonight I'm doing white wine, lemon, herb butter with a little cream. So yes, this is not unique just to salmon.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Frankie, is Frank from New York? It just sounds like it'd be a New York name.
I'll ask him.
Right.
But he also wants to know if you got a haircut.
Hey, Frank, thanks for noticing. I did get a haircut. A little shorter, right? Took a little bit off the sideburns. Now here's another thing I went for today. I went for the tuck-in. I usually don't tuck the shirt in, and I asked a few of my friends here, I asked Lily and Matt, our director, I said, is the tuck-in all right? Because usually I go with the tuck-out. They gave me the thumbs up. That's why I'm going with the tuck-in.
We like the tuck-in. And
we like the tuck-in?
And
how does
so
Frank
are
like
our
the tuck-in?
viewers.
Does Frank like it?
Frank likes the tuck-in.
Cool. Thanks, Frank.
He also, for the record, is from Brooklyn.
Really?
So, yeah.
Frank. I just moved back from Brooklyn about a year ago. Miss it a lot. Happy to be out here, though. Weather's better. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of our salt and pepper, and I'm just going to drizzle a little salt and pepper on that salmon, like so. Just a little bit, because I have this herb butter, and again, guys, I apologize. I'm cheating a little bit, but what I have here is I bought my salmon at Trader Joe's. If you have a Trader Joe's, check it out because it's phenomenal. The prices are really inexpensive, and the quality of the food is great. What I have is a little herb butter, and this is basically just some parsley, some garlic, some citrus. There's a little lemon in there, and maybe some salt and pepper and a few other things. Stuff that we pretty much have here already. But since I tried this the other night and I used this in my cooking, it was phenomenal. So I'm cheating tonight, but you can do this just with some butter and some herbs of your own. So I'm going to be using this in our salmon in just a bit. Like I said, I have some lemon here. I'm going to cut that lemon up, and I'm going to use that I'm going to spritz that over the salmon as well. So I've got a few wedges here. I've got, like I said, I've got my white wine and my cream sauce. But first I want that salmon to cook just a little bit before I get into start putting this stuff in here. The spinach only takes a few minutes. So that's why, I just wanted to chop it and get it ready because spinach wilts down really quick. So I'm just going to basically pan sear that. I'm going to put that garlic in. I'm going to put a little bit of our soy sauce in there. And that's going to do it for our, we have the garlic there. And that's about it. That's how I'm going to do our sauteed spinach. Let me check on the salmon. So right now I'm anticipating when I turn this that the side with the skin is going to be nice and seared. Yup, as you can see there, we got a nice brown crispness going on there. And salmon doesn't really take all that long, guys. So actually what I am going to do now is I'm going to put some of our herb butter in there. And that's just going to give it a real nice flavor profile. That's a word I learned on the Food Network, flavor profile. I never knew what that meant before, but I watch a lot of Food Network, so I really, it's a great, listen, there are a lot of great shows on the Food Network. I don't know if you guys watch, but, again, I touched on this last week. If you didn't watch, they're fantastic chefs. These guys are on a level that, I'm trying to make this real easy for the everyday guy and gal out there to, take some basic ingredients, take them and make something that really tastes good. But, on those shows, they tend to do very fancy things, like, say, flavor profile. but other things that, you know, are kind of hard to duplicate. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, is make something that's duplicatable for everybody. So I took like a tablespoon of that herb butter, and now obviously it's melting. And I'm just going to take some of that butter here, and I'm just going to like, actually, you know what? I'm going to put the whole thing in there. And I'm going to let that melt, and then I'm just going to spoon it over the salmon so it just picks up the flavor. Once that melts, I'm going to begin putting, I'm going to put some white wine, and I'm going to sprig some lemon on there. I'll put the lemon in right now because I'm going to put a few different, I'm going to sprig that a few times over the course of the cooking. Now, you don't want to overcook your salmon, guys, so no. This really doesn't have to cook all that long. Some people tend to overcook their fish and then it's dried out and it's kind of nasty. So you might want to be mindful when you're cooking fish not to overdo it. Okay, so we've got that working. Now I'm just going to take a little white wine here, and again, I don't measure, I just kind of do it how I feel. So watch. And this should make a little bit of noise.
Matt, we have more questions whenever you have a minute.
I'm ready.
All right, awesome.
So as you can, right before I answer that question, I just want to show, I poured some wine in there, and I'm just going to let that boil up a little bit, and I'm also going to cover that just so it absorbs the flavor a little bit more. But before I do that, and then I'll take the question, I'm going to take this half and half and put a little bit in there too. Shoot.
So first we have statement.
A statement?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
This is from Zoe Grace 11.
Let's hear it, Zoe.
She says, your recipe could make me like salmon.
Oh, so Zoe's saying that she doesn't like salmon normally.
But she might because of your recipe.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's what you do, Zoe. You basically go ahead and make it before you tell me if you like it or not. We're hoping that you do. And then feel free to let us know next week on the show by typing in your question or a statement saying, I tried it and I liked it. So we'd love that. That would be awesome. A little, what's it called? A testimony. We'd like a little testimony. So yeah, cool. I appreciate you saying that you might like it. I think you would too. I'm just going to cover this, guys, and I'm going to turn my flame a little lower and let that simmer just for a couple minutes, and I'm get to work on the spinach now. So I've got my pan here. It's already a little hot because it's been on the fire, or the flame, the electric flame. It's not a fire. And I'm going to coat that pan with, oh, Maddie, we can see that on camera. Just, I don't know if you can see that, but just a little bit of oil, because that's going to get absorbed by the spinach a little bit, and that's going to help it cook. And I'm just going to throw it in right now like that. And I have a little pan here, so I can't fit all the way spinach in. I'm going to put a little bit more in. But like I said, that's going to cook down. I don't even need to put that on the fire. I'm just going to show you right here what I'm doing. Whoops, I forgot my garlic. So let's throw that garlic in there.
Matt.
Yes.
Garth W. wants to know if you can make the spinach in the microwave.
First of all, let me say hello to Garth W. because that's one of my... Welcome, Garth. That's one of my best friends. I've known him like practically my whole life. I'm happy that he's watching the show. Can you make spinach in the microwave? Really, dude? I'm going to have to call you after this. Jeez. Spinach in the... No, I've never made spinach in the microwave. I mean, I guess you could, but bro, you don't need to. But that's a good question. Keep asking him, bro. Oh, I have a funny story to tell real quick. Garth and I, we grew up together. So this one night in my house, we were probably like 15, 16 years old. This is kind of embarrassing, actually. But I guess we decided to make Jell-O. And he's probably laughing right now. So I took my mom's, I took this glass bowl that I thought was like, let me put this on the fire real quick because it's losing a little. So I put the glass bowl on the stove, on the flame. And because I thought it was like, a bowl you could cook with. And he's like, in the kitchen behind me, doing whatever he's doing. And so I'm watching I'm watching the bowl really, really closely because there's like some part of me inside thinking like this just isn't right. I don't think I should have this on a flame. So I'm like sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden, I swear to God, this is the truth. I see this bowl start to expand, and I'm like, and I remember saying like, I started calling for my mom. I was like, Mom, and all of a sudden I just went like this, and the thing went and exploded, and like. He's back there cracking up, like laughing, probably peed his pants laughing. And, I'm so lucky that I got out of the way in time because I might have been blinded.
Yeah.
So, long story short, don't use a glass bowl on a burner. Bad idea.
Oh, man.
And when you're 16, don't make Jell-O. All right. I'm just kidding. You can make Jell-O. All right, so I'm going to put a little, in addition to the fresh garlic I put on the spinach, I'm going to take this garlic powder and just sprinkle a little bit on there, just a touch, because that's We just need a little bit. I'm also going to put a tiny bit of salt. Okay, and I'm just going to stir that around a little bit.
Matt, we have another question.
Excellent.
Foodie Ben 24 wants to know, will you be using Thousand Island dressing or ketchup tonight?
And or ketchup.
Yeah.
Actually, good question. I will not. Tonight,
No.
I will not be using either of those. I probably could if I wanted to, but I think we're good on the white wine, the butter, the lemon, and the herb butter. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to take my my salmon off here. I'm going to let that sit for a second. I'm going to watch my spinach here because all I'm going to do now is just add some soy sauce to the spinach, and then that's going to be it for our spinach. I appreciate the questions, by the way, at home, guys. If you have any more questions, please send them Lily's way. All right, so let me just show you guys on camera what our sauce is looking like there. That's looking pretty nice, but before we can say anything, let me take a little sip of that and just kind of see where we're at. Pretty good. Pretty darn good. We're there. I don't need to touch that. I'm going to let the salmon sit in that, and we're going to eat that in just a few minutes.
Awesome.
Are you guys, we're hungry, right?
So excited.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually, this came out good. Not that it doesn't always. All right. This spinach is done. Like I said, it just takes a few minutes. Let me use the spoon that I didn't eat off. Actually, hold on. That's a big no-no of mine. I don't like to double dip. So our garlic is nice and, sauteed. It's going to be a little crunchy, but that's the way I like it. And let me show you guys on camera there. So we've got some nice sauteed garlic, spinach, a little soy sauce, and like you saw me throw a little salt and pepper. And let's just let this sit for a second. And we'll get our plates out and we'll begin plating here in a second. Oh, I forgot my secret ingredient. So I realized that, the other day I made a bunch of bacon. I was making bacon and eggs and some other stuff, which I'll cook on the show sometime. And I had some leftover bacon. So what I do, I put it in the fridge. Save your bacon because you never know when you're going to need it. So I'm going to use it right now. I'm going to take this turkey bacon and I'm going to sprinkle some over the spinach. And I'm just going to crush it up with my hands, Mike Tyson style. All right, maybe that's not working, so let's try a different method. Live TV, you gotta roll with the punches. Literally roll with the punches. Okay, so I'm gonna take this bacon out and I'm just gonna cut it up into little pieces, like so. And I might not use all this because this is actually a lot of bacon. I don't want to overdo it. You want to make sure that you balance your flavors nicely. So this is, I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit on there, guys. Just like, I don't know if we can see that. I'll show on camera. I'm just gonna put like maybe a little bit more, just so you cover the top. That's it. That's all I need. That's all I'm feeling tonight. And I'm just going to mix that around a little bit. Cool.
Matt, we have a question.
Let's hear it.
Lipman wants to know.
Lipman?
Is it true that everything tastes better with bacon?
Lipman, you are so right. I don't know about like cereal. Never tried that, but most things do taste better with bacon. It's true. I don't know if that's a little Jim Gaffigan reference if you watched him stand up, but he does a thing with bacon. It's pretty funny. So yeah, I like bacon. And turkey bacon is actually not so, you don't have to feel so bad about eating it because it's pretty like healthy. Okay, so got our plates out. And I'm going to plate this bad boy. I'm going to do 3 plates tonight as always. And then Lily, I want you to come up here and join me in a second if you would.
Sure, absolutely.
So we can taste this.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and now, our salmon's not piping hot where we are going to burn ourselves. And you can see that's nice and pink.
Yeah, it looks
It's cooked through, but it's not overly cooked. So what I'm going to do is grab a fork over here. And actually, if you don't mind just grabbing those knives and the napkins, and we'll plate this up. I'm going to cut this piece of salmon in 2, because that's enough to feed 2 people. We have some hungry guests here in the room live, so we're going to feed them as well.
Yes, we are.
Okay, I'm going to put that salmon here, plate this piece here, and actually we'll do another piece and we'll save that for someone after the show. We'll put another piece here, and I'm going to throw some sauce on there in a second. And also, guys, if you have like some leftover rice or even if you have pasta or whatever, you want to add that to the mix, go for it. Whatever you got in the fridge there, you want to utilize it. I just did spinach and salmon just to make it kind of simple for us today. Look at how much that cooked down. I put almost the whole bag in there.
Wow.
So I'm just going to put a little bit here.
And it smells so good.
Oh, good. Let's see how it tastes here in a second. And I'm gonna, well, that one didn't get much spinach, but if this were like a little dinner party I was throwing, I would just throw a little bit more spinach on there, cook it up, it'd take 2 seconds, so everyone would have more spinach. And now I'm just gonna take a little bit of our sauce and just coat that salmon.
Delicious.
Let's see. Let's see, Lily, you're our official taster.
I am.
So you gotta give him the straight dizzy.
Oh, I will.
I don't even know what dizzy means. I just made that up. No idea what the
Well, I
straight
will
dizzy
give you
means.
the straight dizzy.
The straight dizzy? Okay.
Yeah. Here, you
Cool.
want mine?
Let's go. Here we go.
We do
One
this
for me,
now.
one for you, one from our homies out there. Let's see.
All right. I'm going to get a little spinach with that. I don't know. Oh, yeah.
You taste
Good.
the salmon?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I did it both together.
That's the bomb
It
diggity
is.
ding dong right
it's
there.
the bomb diggity ding dong.
I think it is. Let's taste
Boom,
the spinach.
boom.
That's the boom boom. Lily says boom boom. I say bomb diggity ding dong.
It's pretty rockin'.
So there you go, guys. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Single Chef. Get out there and cook, guys, because obviously we don't all want to be single forever, do we? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.